Hey, good evening, Cigar Nation. Cigar Hammer Mike here. Hey, back for another great show. And we'll get started here in just a few moments. So just sit tight and we'll get going. So, good evening, everyone. We're going to have a great show. Um, we'll let everyone filter their way in and we'll get started here in just a little bit. Cigar Bull, what's up, man? Mac. It's the Mac Attack. How are we doing today? So, it's going to be a great show here starting pretty soon. Just waiting for everyone to log in, get all connected, all the joys of the modern world. How are we doing tonight? So, hey, Sticks and Ash, what's up? Doing all right, buddy? Cigar Town, what's going on, guys? D's Smokes, what's up? What's going on, man? Big Touch 454. Good evening, guys. We'll get started here in just a little bit. Cerro Construction, man, laying down lumber. And there's Todd Vance, Stallone Cigars. What's up, guys? Being all connected here.
Hello, you there?
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
How are you?
Can you hear us?
Good, good, good.
Hello?
Yeah. Hey, Todd, I'm on with Tony's
Can
phone.
you hear us?
He's here. So I think we only can do one phone. No.
Yeah, let me see if I can invite him in. Hold on, just one sec.
Okay.
No, it will only let us do with the one.
Okay.
Apparently,
I'm
the
going
multiple.
to turn mine off, okay? Okay.
All right, Fernando, how are you doing? So, guys,
So
we
far,
have a great show tonight. I have some special guests in town, a newer cigar company, Stallone Cigars, and with us tonight we have Tony Barrios and Todd Vance. Tony, am I saying your last name correctly?
Barrios, Barrios, Barrios.
Barrios. All right. Yeah, I've been in the cigar world. I'm still struggling with Spanish. I did not take Spanish in
Yeah.
high school. That was not probably a good move. But
Yeah.
how you guys doing today?
So far, so good.
And then on the other side there, I have Todd Vance. So Tony is the owner of Stallone Cigars, and to his side, we have Todd Vance, VP of Marketing and Sales for Stallone in North America. He's another one of those guys who's been around for forever. I'm sure Todd will be like, make me sound old, but no, Todd's been around for a long time, done a lot of great things in the cigar industry. So we're very excited to have both these individuals with us tonight. So again, thank you for joining us on the Cigar Hammer Show.
Thank you for having us.
And
Should we
what's up,
put
Todd?
their? Yeah, Todd can hear you because we're just one connection with my Bluetooth, so we might go without the ear things.
Try it. You want to try it?
Let me try.
Hang on.
All right. Fernando, how are you doing? All right, everyone. Hey, as we're getting settled here on the audio, again, we have Stallone Cigars. You've seen them popping up on social media. A great Nicaraguan cigar coming out to you. I have the owner, Tony Barrios, from Stallone, and then the VP of Sales to his right, the left on our screen, Todd Vance, who's the VP of Sales and Marketing of North America for Stallone Cigars. So, again, thank you for joining, and everyone, we're going to have a great show tonight. So,
Hey, Big Mike. Thanks for having us.
well, I appreciate you guys making time. I know whenever someone like Tony's in town, you're trying to hit different places and say hi to many people. So, I appreciate the time tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Well, we look forward to it. You know, I look forward to it. I've been, I smoked some of your cigars, very, very smooth cigars. I understand they have a great price point on them, but just the delivery of such a smooth and good construction. Something I've talked about on my show several times. That many newer cigar companies sometimes suffer from certain build problems and quality issues, as I kind of group them all together. But I smoked both the San Andreas and the Habano so far, and I thought both of them very smooth, nice construction, excellent draw, really nice wrappers utilized on the cigar construction, and then again just a nice smoothness to both cigars. So,
thank you very much. Yeah, that's what we're working hard. And we got our rollers has to be at least 10 years experience to do our cigars. That's why we care a lot about the cigars construction.
okay, so you have a lot of veteran folks. So that's always good to know. Especially like I said, in a newer cigar company. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit about kind of starting out here in the U.S. and such a unique time to do that. But so Tony, I wanted to introduce you to the crowd. I understand you're from Texas, which to those of my fans here in Texas will be very interested to hear. And then everyone abroad, tell us a little bit about yourself. How you got here and all those kind of good things.
Well, I'm third generation tobacco growers in my family in Venezuela. So I've been, involved with tobacco all my life. And then I started to do the Stallones on Esteli, Nicaragua, because it's one of the tobacco that I like best around the world. So I started to play together with the blends, and it took me like 4 years to put all the blends together nicely. And I'm hang out a lot in Texas. Actually, I'm moving next year here to Texas because I love horses, and
in Texas.
And I show cutting horses in Fort Worth a lot. So it's a pleasure to be around this area always for me.
That's great, and and hearing the fact that you spent so much time in developing the blends. A lot of newer organizations that I've spoken to. Of course, I'm cordial and I like to hear about them, but you don't hear about necessarily as much time as I'm not the poobah of all cigars or anything like that. I'm not trying to say that I am, but as a consumer and a consumer that buys a lot of stuff, I like to know where my stuff is coming from, and the fact that you dedicated an amount of time to getting the right blend, not just throwing something out there to get your name out there and get a cigar out there. Making sure that the blend was right, and it's certainly very, very smooth and very nice construction. So
I got to tell you a story about Tony, and his mom lives in Austin, and so he would get cigars in Esteli and think, "Man, these are perfect. It is absolutely can't be better." But he would come to they would smoke differently. Elevation, climate, allergies, or something like that, it would be different. And so he was wondering, why would they change? And then he would go back and say, this is not quite right for the American market, and go back and make changes, bring it back to the U.S. and smoke it again, and then spent 4 years getting that blend right. And then the smart thing that he did was he bought 5 years worth of tobacco. So our blends will be consistent for the next 5 years, if not longer. That's what a lot of guys don't do.
That's correct. Unless you're uniquely suited and have large, your own large tobacco farms and extremely vertically integrated. A lot of newer folks suffer from that, right? Because that breeds inconsistencies. You might try, oh man, the first cigar is awesome, and then you get that second batch, and you're like, well, that's less awesome. So I'm like, hey Todd, what is this? That kind of thing. So
why did this change?
And Todd, tell the audience briefly. You've been around for a while, and you don't have to name the specific former companies, but just kind of tell us high level, kind of how you end up with us, Stallone Cigars.
Well, people like me, we're like bad NFL coaches. We just keep getting shuffled around from company to company. And Tony was unfortunate enough to draw my name in a hat and had to call me. No, I was.
You were the player to be named later, huh?
I was the player to be named later. I'm the last draft pick. But I have been around for about 13 years now. I've worked for the Giants. I started out with Esteban Carreras as a salesperson, went to AJ Fernandez as a salesperson, became director of sales for AJ, became director of sales for Cornelius and Anthony, and then became North American VP of sales for Stallone. And it was, I can thank COVID for this. COVID can be thanked for some things. But when Tony called me, he started talking to me, and I was like, well, who the hell are you? And what about? And then he said, I'm gonna send you samples. So he sent me samples. I smoked through them, and I was pleasantly surprised. When you're talking to the guy who's just bringing out cigars, you're not expecting much. I was shocked. Okay, and then he sent me the price list 3 days later after I smoked them. That's when he had me hook, line, and sinker. I thought, my God, I can sell these cigars anywhere. And our prices basically from $6.80 to $10.25, and it's the sweet spot in the market. And we've got something for everybody, from a Palomino, which is our Connecticut, which is U.S. Connecticut, to a U.S. Connecticut broadleaf called the Zenio, which is a good punch in the face, and everything in between. So I'm still thankful to this day for COVID that he helped me. That Tony called me.
And see, I need to try one of those Zanios, because anytime someone says it's a punch in the face, let's see, because I'll smoke all the heavy hitter powerhouse cigars out there, and I've been on some other folk shows. I'm like, yeah, this is good. It could be stronger, and they're like, that's the strongest cigar we make. I'm like, well, So, but no,
keep trying, right?
No, huh?
And you want to tell them to keep trying. You'll make something stronger one day, right?
Yeah. Keep getting there. You get the hammer approved tag at some point. But,
all right, so we got a special for you. That you're the first person ever to know this. Okay, so we've done our Texas tour, Tony, and we still love the Zenio. It's a great full-bodied cigar as Connecticut broadleaf goes, right? Tony has noticed a lot of Texas smokers said, man, I wish you had something fuller, right? Just like you're asking for. So we've just this week invented this cigar called the Clydesdale. And the Clydesdale is a big workhorse of a damn, he's a stud. And they can pull, they can plow. Yep. And so we've figured out that this one's going to be, if you don't keep up, he'll plow you under. And it's going to be a one size 6x60. But we're going to make it a 4 Ligero cigar that should knock you down.
Well, I look forward to that hitting the market, because I'll be happy to talk about that cigar, because that's what I like to hear. I like to hear Ligero and 660. That's the ring gauge that I go for predominantly. And so, very, very enjoyable. So, so guys, just for everyone who's joined on, we have a lot of people join on. I have with us Stallone Cigars, Tony Barrios, the owner of Stallone Cigars, and then Todd Vance, the VP of Sales and Marketing for Stallone Cigars. So we're talking about these great new Nicaraguan cigars that have hit the U.S. market, and we kind of talked about a little bit about how Tony got here, and Todd. Tony, let's talk about a little bit about that horse aspect, because as I was talking with some folks before this show about some of your cigars, I've been kind of just referencing like the wrapper, San Andreas, and whatnot. I'm smoking tonight, by the way, the Connecticut, which is called the Palomino, right? Right. I'm originally from, even though I live in Texas, I'm originally from Detroit, so I'm not too knowledgeable of horses. So I'm kind of working through those names a little bit. So you'll have to help me with that. So you talked about the horse, your horse upbringing. I've read about that. What made you transition while you've had the experience? You said you were part of like different growing operation. What decided to make you go like full bore? Hey, I'm gonna have my cigars.
So why you want to make cigars? Which is one of the questions I ask him, and I ask a lot of people. Why the hell do you want to do this?
Okay, it was a hard decision for me, because I know the American market is pretty hard, to get into. But this is the passion of my life, cigars. And the main reason I want to share my cigars with people that can appreciate it, somebody that has a deep love for tobacco leaves. And I saw here in the U.S., the market was a little bit overpriced. So you see that maybe you pay $8 to $10 for a cigar, and maybe it's worth $4 or $5. So Stallone philosophy is completely the opposite. Okay, so we deliver more than the customer pays for. So that's why I really came to this business, because I smoke, pretty much all those cigars, and I keep, trying, new cigars every time, to compare to my cigars. And I found it out that I really created some different flavors. How you should thinking past. I thought outside the box, putting some different blends together, to give the people something different to try. And I know the American people, they're always open to try new things. It's very different from the Europeans. They stick to a cigar for all their life. They don't want to change it, even though the blend changed 100 times. But and that's my main goal.
So one of the things also we talked about, when Tony first called me, and I asked him, I said, why the hell do you want in this business? His answer to me was the most intriguing thing I've ever heard. He said, I think your American marketplace is overpriced. And brother, that caught me off guard, because I've never heard anybody say that yet. And he's right. I mean, our goal is to deliver more than what you pay for.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, when I started discovering your cigars and finding out that, your price points, a lot of these new folks come out here with brand new cigars that you haven't heard of yet, and they want like $12, $13 for them. I'm like, for $13, I can go get something I know I'm going to like, or from a company that I'm very familiar with, that I know what to expect, even if it's a new cigar, right? But yours are very friendly priced. One that I'm willing to adventure and try them all and see what sticks for me. And it's less of a risk, so it's very nice to see that coming out. And I'm smoking this Connecticut, which is a cigar I generally smoke more in the evening time, because I go to bed early. I wake up, as Todd knows from my emails, I wake up way early. I don't know how you
emails at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So that's the time I get up a lot of times. But nonetheless, very nice creamy aspect to the smoke. A little bit of subtle nuttiness too, a little bit of that kind of sweeter almond nutty to it. So very nice, pleasant quality tobacco again.
Which is U.S. Connecticut, not Ecuadorian Connecticut, which is
it's close to $70.
So U.S. Connecticut's about $70 a pound. That's why people don't use it anymore. It's just outrageous. We, however, figure that the Americans are worth it.
Well, that's great to hear, And Sam Ventura from Crux is talking about, Todd, your great hair. Sam, of course, raising the hair bar, because, Sam.
I just
right?
He was awesome. Saw him at Michael's of Euless.
Yeah, if we ever get back to being in public again, like at PCA or something, I want to get you, Sam, people like Juan Lopez and things like that all together. We're gonna come up with some quality metrics there for the hair, and then. But as I research your product, because I admit, this is all you started deploying in August type time frame, if I recall correctly, and so I've been kind of following along, just like all of us, and kind of doing some research on it. And you guys are, from my understanding, your Nicaraguan cigars are at Tabacalera La Perla. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
so again, you selected a manufacturer with some pedigree there. They make some other, I won't name them, but they do make some other very popular cigars. People can look up Tabacalera La Perla later, but a name brand kind of factory, which is always, again, encouraging on a newer cigar. What made you select them as your partner that's going to represent your name to the masses?
Well, that's a good question. Guillermo Pena, which is the owner of Tabacalera La Perla, is such a nice guy. He's kind of my brother, And I met him a few years ago because I was in Italy doing my search all through the factories. And the Italy is ruled by Cubans. So when you show us a Venezuelan, they denigrate you. How you say? Denigrate you. So like Cubans, they think that Venezuelan, nobody else knows tobacco than them. So, but Guillermo, he was very nice, because I was looking for a factory where I can put my blends together and trust them that they're going to do exactly the blend that I have, because I already, bought the tobacco. So I don't want a factory that change the tobacco, So that's why I chose Tabacalera La Perla, and they do a great construction, because Guille, he worked 25-year experience in Cuba. He was top 5 rollers in Cuba, so he knows a little bit about rolling a cigar. Sorry, and we have a beautiful team that backups or factory that can supervise or cigars and check them if they're good. All the cigars are triple cap, all of them, and that's a thing that not many factory does in these days.
Yep, and they're all and there's no machines.
No machine.
No machines that
Everything is by hand, 100%. So, and we select the top rollers that have at least 10 years experience to do Stallone Cigars for us.
And let's mention that because, again, I compliment you guys on your pristine look of the cigars, which, again, and I hope I'm not harping unfairly on this, being a newer manufacturer or, newer producer of cigars, that, the look is more comforting when you see a new cigar. It's like, okay, it looks good. It's rolled well. And I did notice the triple cap, the Cuban-esque look to it. I was like, well, he spent more money on that. So again, showing that sign, I've noticed over the cigars I've smoked, as a guy who saves all his bands, right? Because people always hit me up for bands for furniture and stuff. So I got like 2.5 of these from COVID so far. And I noticed that they're applied correctly. They're all very consistent. They're overlapped in the correct way. There's the proper amount of adhesive to the cigar. All those small details. But a lot of cigar manufacturers don't necessarily care about that a whole lot. But as a consumer, especially a consumer of a newer cigar,
a very good point right there. You remember the Opus X band, right? Iconic. There's a company out of Holland that makes that cigar round.
Cigar rings.
Cigar rings out of Holland. They make ours as well, and they cost extra. It's everything that Tony touches is done first class, and that's another added feature that is cigar bands out of Holland that does it.
Yeah, actually, there's one part about that, Todd. I did not like the glare that your band creates when I try to take my pictures. That was a little bit detrimental for us Instagram folks. So, but it does look very, very catchy on the shelf. So I'm enjoying this quite a bit. It's a nice flavor. And I'm not just saying that because you're on my show. I mean, that's certainly a perk. But I would tell you if I didn't like it. So
I heard you tell the truth.
Yeah, I would tell you if I didn't like it, or
exactly.
we wouldn't have made it this far. But we talked about some of the cigars, the horse names. I find that very interesting. Because it's a departure from kind of standard, Spanish-based names, or some of the model numbers that some companies have adopted for their names. They're all named after different breeds of horse, as I've reviewed. But how should I say? Is there a link, a connection to a particular breed? You have to apologize. I'm at my house. But is there a connection? For example, this is the Palomino. This is the Connecticut. You had some of the other horses assigned to other cigars, the San Andreas and so forth. Is there some sort of relationship to that, or could you tell us more about how you selected the breeds of horses?
Yeah, basically, the name of the cigars are named after the horse's color, no matter what kind of breed, the breedings. Okay, so for example, the Palomino is like a yellow golden horse, so that's why that wrapper is the same color. So that's why I put the Palomino on. Yeah,
yep.
That one. Yeah.
The Castaño means chestnut, which is a good chestnut mare.
The Castaño.
Yep. The San Andreas.
It's like a bay horse. Then we have the Negro Maduro, which is a black horse. And all the words in Spanish resembles the horse's color. So that's why. And the second line, you'll see the wrapper, because I want, there's a lot of people to get into the humors, and then maybe they don't have the right help, so they're looking for some particular wrapper they like. They will see it on the cigars.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and thank you for clarifying that, because I find it interesting when some cigar brands. I ask that question for some of the companies that come up with unique names of their cigars, and that I would certainly say that's a unique approach. So, as we talk about some of the cigars, we mentioned the Connecticut, the Palomino, and the San Andreas. What are some of your cigars? I know, I'm going to go ahead and plug one of your products. I saw you guys have a little sampler floating out there at some of the shops, I think it was a 6-count sampler of your different lines. So, could you talk about some of the different, high level, some of the vitolas you offer, as well as some of the different options for the flavor aspect?
So we mostly the stuff that we came out first, which I applauded Tony to come out with. We came out with basically two sizes, Robusto Toro. And then in certain sizes like the Negro and the Castaño, there's a line extension, both Perfecto and a Bellicoso. But most of the stuff that we sell, and yeah. And but coming out for the next year, there will be 60 ring gauge available. But so I don't feel there's any need to have 18 SKUs of the same cigar. It makes no sense to us. So shop owners don't have room for it. If you're not smoking Robusto Toro Gordo, I'm sorry. As much as we love Lanceros and Lonsdales, they just simply don't sell. I mean, they'll sit on a shelf forever. And when you could have something else that sells a whole lot better.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a lot of the guys tease me because I'm known for smoking a lot of bigger cigars.
Sure.
Certainly, 54 ring gauge. It's a rare thing when I smoke a narrow cigar, a Corona, a Rothschild, a Lancero, and all the variations thereof. And as someone who's worked with retailers a lot, new companies that come up with Lanceros, I'm like, you're just losing money. It's just not as it's a very small part of the market. Shops will often discount those after a certain amount of time and not reorder from you, which doesn't help you. For them, they're just hoping to make their money back. And, so it doesn't really work out initially, right? So maybe in the future, of course, things could change. But that's, again, guys, that shows you Stallone has kind of put some real thought into the quality of the cigars, the design of their cigars, as well as how they're going to distribute and what vitolas, the sizes they're going to offer. So that's a great thing to hear.
And plus, this is the Habano. This has got a 96 rating from Stogie Press. But what I'm trying to show you is it's a small box. So we've also taken the shop owner in consideration. The shelf space is always at a premium in the store, and we're trying to help them out as well. Small boxes, not a lot of sizes, barcodes on every cigar.
Very nice. For the shops that are watching later, I know some shops that I talk with watch my show usually on reruns because they're working late. That's a great thing. What is that, like a 3x7 box or what?
3x6.5.
Yeah. Yep. 3x6.5.
The Robusto.
And a little bit bigger than the Toro.
No. I meant like, is it 2 rows of 10 in the box? Or?
It is. Okay, 2 rows of 10.
But a thinner board on the box. So again, you're right, very, very minimal on the shelf space. And for those of us who buy boxes a lot, it takes up less space in your cooladors and other apparatus. For me, I buy a lot of boxes because I go through several boxes a month, and so stacking them up, I hate the ones that have rounded domes. Todd, you messed with me in the past over some of the companies you work for on that. They just don't fit in there as nicely. So it's nice to abuse folks about that later when I can. But nonetheless, great thought, guys. So you got the San Andreas. We talked about the broadleaf. What was the broadleaf called?
The Zaino.
Zaino.
Okay.
That's lost in translation in the U.S. and Spanish. I'm going to say Zaino. He's going to say Zino.
Yeah.
It's still the same thing, which is a red.
No, Zaino is a dark chocolate horse, like almost black, but it's brown horse.
And we're out of those.
And Zinos are U.S. Connecticut broadleaf with Nicaraguan binder and filler. And there's 3 ligeros and 2 visos inside. There's no secos in that cigar. Actually, the whole line of Stallone, we don't use any secos. We use only ligeros and visos. And for the medium body cigars, we use visos a little bit, like light visos. But we don't like to use secos in none of our cigars.
All right, can I get him to explain viso, seco, stuff like that?
Yeah, hold on one second. Everyone who just joined, Cigar Cy, all the other Cigar Queen, thank you for joining. I have Stallone Cigars, Tony Barrios, and Todd Vance, and they're about to explain some extra great detail about cigars that we don't get to hear.
So, Tony, tell them about the tobacco plant.
Okay, a tobacco plant has some primings, the leaves, as a higher you go, the stronger and more flavor the leaf has. So the ligeros are the leaf on the really top. So they take more sun, and they are stronger in flavor, in power, and as well in a lot of oils. So the visos are the middle part of the plant. So they are very aromatic, and they have a lot of flavor, but a little bit less power than the ligeros. And then the secos are the lowest part of the plant, which we don't use, that they only have a great combustion, but they're poor in flavor. So that's a good thing. And, in Nicaragua, all the tobacco we get, the plants in the field, they sacrifice all the secos. They take all the secos when the plant is growing. So all the good nutrients from the volcanic soils go and power all those visos and ligeros. So that's a very different. People might not know this, but there's a huge difference in price for those kind of leaf. For those kind of tobacco. This is huge difference.
There is top shelf tobacco only,
and we age it from 4 to 5 years before rolling a cigar. I mean, the ligeros and the visos. Okay, and we do all our fermentation process in some of the wrappers, and the San Andres and the Habano from Ecuador and the Corojo from Brazil. We do the whole fermentation process in our way to have that particular signature flavor on the Stallones.
Yeah, and that ties into the fact that you said you've bulk purchased your tobacco for the next several years, 5 years. And so again, partnering with, first of all, you bought expensive tobacco, you bought it in mass, so that will control both your quality and maintain a high level of quality. On top of that, you partner with a great group who has been around a long time to make sure, we hear about those unsavory acts that some other smaller factories do about bale swaps and stuff like that, which, this shouldn't happen for you guys. So, it's a great way to maintain that intensity, especially since you use so much as well and smoothness.
The marketing team say that I'm crazy because I put the money not in the marketing, in the tobacco. But I say, if I put a lot of money in the marketing, I don't want to put bad tobacco then, to keep up, to catch up. But anyway, we've been in cigar aficionado all the 2020 year, and we're going to be, hitting a lot of marketing next year through YouTubers, influencers, you guys, to support you guys, because this is a completely new era where some of the magazines are dying, and people just grab the phone to see what the cigar, they're going to buy. So congratulations, you guys have done a great job for the industry.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. You people like you have driven this marketplace. Yeah. And, thank God there's people like you and you that do this, because, you're the purveyors of information. I can, whenever I go into a humidor, I'm convinced that it's a sea of brown with not a whole lot of information going on unless you ask somebody. Or you pick up your phone and you do a search, and there you are, giving people information about it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate, the shows are all a lot of work. As some of the folks I talk with behind the scenes, and, I do different things. I try to work with different shops, and, hopefully in the future we'll be able to work with the shop and talk about Stallone Cigars again, especially when that Clydesdale, I'll be looking. Todd, I'm gonna hold you and Tony to that. Trust me, I'll be texting every so often. I'm like, hey, Todd, Clydesdale, we talked about
I will have a sample in 2 to 3 weeks with your name on it.
That'd be awesome. So, you hit on an interesting point a little while ago. We talked about, you talked about kind of taking some of the European flavors, and we've discussed this on my show before when we were talking about some Cuban cigars and speaking with some of my international audience about, while certainly there are no absolutes in the world, but there is in general in Europe a preference for both a little bit smaller cigars because their lifestyle is a little bit different, and then their taxes are insane, and then also the intensity level, right? You see fewer of the powerhouse smokes that are very common here. You go to a humidor here, a third of the cigars are going to be 660 with as much Ligero or super strong Maduro wrapped wrapped around Ligero, whatever it may, sprayed on Ligero, whatever it may be. That's an inside joke, but nonetheless, yeah. So yeah, you guys don't do that, but other folks. But anyway, all these different things to get that powerhouse smoke. What are some of the transitions? This is open to either of you. What are some of the transitions that you took? Some of the plans to take a cigar, because you guys have been marketing your products in Europe for a while before coming to the U.S. I mentioned you guys started, bringing them here in August. That's a different world. A lot of folks don't. A lot of cigar companies just try to, push round into square. Doesn't always work that well. How have you guys manipulated and changed the way you're approaching your product for this market?
Well, as you say, that's true. The European market is completely different than the American market. They like mild to medium cigars. So the cigars that they like more from our line is Palomino and the Alazán Habano. And taxes are crazy over there. And we have a couple blends only for European market that are like mild to medium, but with lots of flavor. Okay. Once again, I will not put my name on a band. The cigar doesn't have a good flavor. So there's a completely different market over there, but there's the way they are, the taxes are crazy, almost 200%. So if they buy a cigar for $4, they need to pay like $8 in taxes plus 4 is going to equal 12. Then the store sells 20 or 24 is insane. That's why Europe market on cigars is never going to develop. It's going to stay behind United States.
Yeah, I mean, I think back, I really enjoyed the San Andreas cigar. That hits my flavor profile really well. It had some really nice tones. I won't go into all the. Some folks go, I don't want to hear about nutmeg and oats and all that kind of stuff. Look, it has a nice tobacco flavor, consistent all the way through. And as I smoked this one, I was kind of thinking, okay, this was a Connecticut. It's made by folks that come from Europe, or your products were originally in Europe. So I'm thinking this is going to be, some mild Macanudo, mild stuff here, and it really has a very nice flavor. I would give this a mild to medium as far as its intensity, maybe slightly north of that, but has some nice complete flavors. And when I don't have Todd on the spot and Tony on the spot, I'll tell you what I think this reminds me of some other cigars, but I don't want to come across.
I consider it, I think I've had the Rose of Sharon, which I love, and I consider this very close to like a Rose of Sharon. It costs less, and this is not your daddy's Macanudo. This is a medium to us. It's a mild to medium cigar with flavor, and a little bit of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the Connecticut that this reminds me of, there's about 3 that I recommend when someone wants a Connecticut, but not just the super mild Connecticut's. I recommend things like the San Latano Connecticut by AJ, the Drew Estate Undercrown Shade, and then also the San Cristobal Elegance. They're both milder and mild cigars, certainly, but that mild to medium range, but they have some nice flavor and body to the flavor. Not strong body, but just flavor body. And I think that this fits the bill, and I like the fact that it's going to be friendly on the budget. So very important, especially for us high-volume smokers, to find these good quality cigars like that. So I'm enjoying that quite a bit.
That's what we've also seen this year is, people due to COVID, people are smoking more, but they don't want to spend more. They want to, they're going to buy more cigars. They want to have something that's in their wheelhouse, something they can afford. So it's been a good year for us.
Yeah, the expression I generally use on my shows is that, look, folks, we have to find the daily smokes, right? We all have those cigars that we like that cost $20. And I'm sure that if you guys wanted to come out with a $20 cigar, I'm sure it'd be great. But, quite frankly, I can't afford to smoke 3 $20 cigars every day.
It's a lot easier to smoke that $20 cigar than it is a $7 cigar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can smoke 3 of those a day and enjoy it. And for a lot of people, including myself, look, if I'm not looking for all those subtle tones, I just want a good quality smoke that's going to burn nicely. Look, it's not unwrapping or anything like that. It's got a nice look. The burn, guys, look, this is a good burn. I'm smoking outdoors, so it's never just as crisp as it would be if I was indoors. This is a good quality burn, and you see I popped the label already. Look, no damage to the label, so to the wrapper. So great quality there.
And we're all smoking 2 different cigars, and the burn ring is tight on all of them. It's just quality construction. And once again, Mike, our goal is, not only to give you a very good cigar at a great price, but what the worst thing you can do is to smoke a cigar you don't remember. That's wasted time, and I don't want to waste your time. I want to give you something you're going to think about and also remember and come back and do it again.
Yeah, and I mean, I won't get all rocky on you, but the ash has a nice color. The burn line is appropriate for the age of the tobacco. We won't go all crazy like that. We won't start talking about magnesium and all that. But nonetheless, you can tell it's a good product. And I have to say, you and I have met before and we've spoken, but I have to say that it certainly comes across in my show so far that we've seen that, to me, what also helps in a cigar is the people I know that are behind it. If they're, because I've met a lot of cigar people over there. I've been involved with the cigar industry for 15, 20 years in one way or the other. Not to the level you guys are involved, but I mean, involved with shops and doing those kinds of things. And I've met a lot of different folks, and you meet some folks that are like, well, these are my cigars. You should love them. Well, it's my $10, man. So, I'll tell you if I like it or not, that kind of thing. So it's important to meet good charismatic people that obviously have some thought into their product and care, and you come out with a price point that represents that. So, so far, obviously you have a limited range of time for soak time in this. But what has been the most popular 1 or 2 Stallone cigars?
Well, so far, I got to tell you, in Texas, it's been the Castaño. There's 3: the Castaño, the Palomino, and the Zeno. I got the San Andreas. Nick, you've had that Castaño. You've spoken where you've had the Castaño. I'm going to tell you, there's a whole, to me, and he can tell you this. That cigar, he smoked the Padron, and that's what he wanted to try to emulate as an homage because we like those guys so much. And it's very Padronish, for $8. The Zeno, it's our most expensive cigar at $10.25. Yeah, in a Toro, and it's damn good. You're gonna smoke that cigar and think, I would pay a lot more for this. I'm glad I don't have to. And then the Palomino has just been, I can put that in anyone's hand, medium to mild, and they're gonna like it either way.
Yeah, it's a cigar that's great for if you're, not that we can do these things right now, but if you're going to weddings, if you're getting a bunch of guys together and you just want to have cigars because you're not real sure, you want to smoke, but you're not sure what you should get. You don't want to get Clydesdales for everyone and knock them down with quadruple Lajero. That's a great option. It falls in that same kind of category of cigars when I talk with folks about, Perdomo Champagnes, Oliva Connecticut's, San Lotano Connecticut's. This falls in that same breath of, and I hope you consider that a compliment of the quality and the remembrance of, again, that smooth factor. That was the thing that, I smoked this one, the San Andreas and the Habano, and my mind went to, this is very, very smooth. Obviously, me personally, I like bolder, stronger cigars. But what was the distinction to me was that, wow, these are really smooth, and for the price, they're really, really smooth. Usually, that smoothness comes with a few more dollars attached to it.
You're like the harshness. Typically when you're thinking inexpensive, you're thinking harsh, bitter. You're not going to get that with our cigars.
And good build. Again, good solid draw. I've been doing the show and smoking some cigars and new ones outside my comfort zone, and I've gone out of like 3, 4, 5 cigars. I might have 1 or 2 where I got to run the 1/8 drill bit through so I could smoke it, and these 3 were real smooth right off the bat, just the right amount of draw, not too much, but not tight either.
Yeah, one of the things you mentioned, when you smoke a cigar brand, you can feel that you're smoking, that brand. In Stallone, we want to have very different flavors and bodies and complexity from one blend to another. So you can be smoking Stallones all day, switching different kind of wrappers, and have different experiences. That's one of our main goals, creating those blends to be very different one from another. because I play a lot with the seeds. The tobacco seeds, Corojo, Criollo 98, Habana 2000. So that's my main goal, to have very different cigars. No, for example, most of the brand, you smoke a cigar and you smoke the other, and it look like the same, just maybe switching wrapper. So that's not going to happen here.
I've discussed that before, where there are some brands, don't get me wrong, they make a fine product, but there are a few brands in my mind where I can think of off the top of my head that are very popular, where there are basically 3 cigars with 12 different bands. As far as, because there's the differences are only going to be caught for the true cigar snob that's out there analyzing nutmeg and cocoa and dark chocolate versus milk chocolate and all that stuff. And unless you're really into that, there's some cigars out there that, like you said, there's 3 different cigars across 12 lines. So it is nice. Like I said, the ones I've smoked, all 3 distinct, but consistent and smooth. I saw a question someone asked, Cav Vet, thank you everyone for joining. Stallone Cigars here out in DC. Are you guys out in any shops out in that DC, Maryland area?
Yes, there's what's the shop out in DC? I forgot. Bloom and
well, you know what?
And Maryland has it, I believe, or Beck, Pennsylvania. But trust me, next year we're gonna get on it. We're gonna get across the country. We're coming. So, if the best thing you can do right now is to go to your shop and ask for Stallone Cigars. That will help us tremendously.
Yes, we appreciate it.
And Sticks, and a few of you guys that were asking about that, Todd Vance is the VP of Marketing and Sales. Everyone else who's interested in getting him in your shop, of course, it works best if you get your shop involved in that. But also you can reach out to Todd. He'll be tagged in all my stuff. He was tagged in the photos this morning. You can message him. I'm sure Tony is interested too. But nonetheless, Todd, that's his job. So put him to work.
And I like to keep my job.
Yeah, let him get that heart. Let him get that blue collar hair messed up a little bit. Get him to work, and Tony is out there. He goes ball cap on it. So yeah. So Cigar Vets. Yeah. If you can message Todd, Cigar Vets here is apparently he's probably kind of like me. Sticks Nash, I know, is like me out in that area. So make sure you.
And as a top, we'd love to send you samples. So please, contact Mike. He'll forward it to me, or I'll get it. But we'd love to send you some samples so you can try it. But we're going to be, Tony gave me permission to go out and get some more brokers next year. So we're going to get some more brokers. We're going to be a lot more places. But we're not going to grow too fast. I want to. So you won't see us online. You'll see us in shops only. You're not going to see it in the catalogs. So visit your local cigar shop and ask for it, and you're going to get it.
We protect the brick and mortar stores.
Well, absolutely. I mean, as many of my followers have seen, I work with some of the different brick and mortars here in Dallas, Fort Worth. I work with some here in Fort Worth, some in Dallas, and guys, I help them out just because I like the people. And I have the time. I have some ability to do that, and so that's what I do. I don't get paid by these folks. I just enjoy working with the shops because hey, I love the shops. Do I buy 100% of my cigars from shops? Of course not. Again, I smoke five boxes a month. It makes that hard, but I buy as many as I can from shops, and these are certainly ones I would aim for in that area. Hey, Phoenix, so shops are great. Vet and Sticks is the emulator.
I told this, and if you know me, I've got a lot of stories, and I like to talk. So, but I told this. I had an interview with Small Batch Cigars, and one of the things I said is I hope people appreciate their brick and mortars because this year, these brick and mortars have saved more marriages than any psychologist has ever saved.
Oh, absolutely, right? I mean, cigar smoking has not really gone down, and like you mentioned, I smoke a lot in my normal times, but like I said, 2.5 bags of these, and since the time I think I'm pretty sure judging by all that, I think I've gone through higher numbers, and I think everyone else is in that boat, right? I mean, we've been talking cigars a lot more. Folks like me who were not previously on Instagram, I started this in early March, and got involved. So it's been that time, and you maintain that sense of camaraderie, right? I mean, Tony, I already feel like I know you.
Yeah,
And chat with
me
you, and
too.
it's fun. I
Yeah,
look forward to the day where we can get in person with more time and
yes,
sit and have some whiskey, have some cigars, make up some stories, tell some true ones, make up some others, and
yeah,
go from there. Um,
definitely we will do it.
and as time is ending, Todd, I did want to hit you up. So because of COVID, obviously a super challenge to get out there and for a group like you that's focused on the brick and mortar, which is a great mission, and a great way to go with a new grassroots approach to a newer product to the market. But obviously, there's obstacles left and right. And what are some of the ways that you've kind of adapted your technique? Obviously, you're not a rookie sales oriented person or anything like that. How have you adapted to the new world?
Well, normally I'm the person who would go out and sit with a guy and smoke samples all day because I was loath to send samples through the mail. Suddenly we're doing that. I've learned, even though I'm technologically challenged, I've learned to use the computer a lot more than I did in the past. Normally when someone says there's a village missing their idiot, they're typically pointing that towards me. But I keep telling people, look, don't be too afraid. The hotels have never been cleaner. You can always pick up a meal and take it home and eat. So the other story is I was in California a couple weeks ago, and because of what we're going through, I made it from San Diego to Los Angeles in an hour and 5 minutes in the middle of traffic, and there was no traffic, which is kind of nice. So makes it easy to get to shops, but sooner or later it's going to be same old, and we're going to be out there hitting it hard.
Okay, great. And I'm sure everyone will be looking forward to that. I'll kid Todd a little bit. Todd,
Hit
yes,
me.
is technologically a little bit technologically deficient, but I have to say, first of all, you embraced it. A lot of the cigar groups, let me tell you guys, are technologically deficient. Right? Struggle with, like when I set up these shows, I send out media invites and all this other stuff. I treat it just like my normal job. I mean, as everyone knows, I'm in IT in my real job. So, but Todd embraced that, and he was working with me. We did some test versions of this to make sure he got on, and so embraced it. Where some others have kind of not done that and kind of struggled, and so that's certainly great that someone who is changing and adapting with the world and learning the new technologies, and obviously you're making new friends that will always help you out. If you go, hey, I got to do this XYZ software. What does that mean? Call me up. I'll be telling you, like, okay, that means you need to download some stuff. Tell Tony to give you $100. You got to buy this software for your phone now, and you'll be rocking and rolling. So, Tony can get some of those bills. That's what that will be. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Folks, time is running short. We have, if anyone has any last minute questions, feel free to pop them up. But I do want to give an opportunity to turn the floor over to the guys, so it's not just me talking here at the end. Again, I've really appreciated your time, Tony. I know, like, you're a cigar owner. You got everyone calling you. You got everyone wanting you all over the place. Appreciate your time. But do you have any last minute thoughts you want to leave with the audience?
Just remember, once again, our goal and Tony's goal and the whole point of this cigar was we think the American market is overpriced. We're going to give you more than what you paid for. You're going to be pleasantly surprised. You're not going to be angry when you walk out the door after you paid for our cigars. Try them, pick them up, ask for them. Whatever we can do to get them there, we'll get them there. But I've always said there's zero correlation between how much a cigar costs and how good it is. And
Exactly.
I love where our price point is. There's an old saying from Jimmy Dean Sausage years ago, I'd much rather explain our price point than have to explain the quality of my sausage. Well, our cigars are good, and they're priced great. So come talk to me.
That's it. Weird final thought. Okay. Yeah, all right. Tony, anything for us that does not include weird sausage stories?
Anything you want to say?
Yeah, Todd is right. And yes, I encourage people to go and try the cigars and see that the cigar will talk by itself. Okay, no matter if I can explain there or not what I put there inside, that all the blends are in the website, but the cigar is gonna talk. You're going to be watching the cigar and smoking and enjoying. And my goal is to bring the people a great experience, because this is all about. Life is short, so we have to enjoy what we like most.
Amen.
Yeah.
Peace out.
That's what it's about, the community and everything. So, again, everyone, thank you for joining tonight. We had two great guests from Stallone Cigars with their impeccably smooth. That's what I'll say. They can say what they want about their cigars. I say that they're smooth. That's what I like about them. And great price points for those of you. I'll classify as a good daily, affordable, approachable cigar. Not cheap, just a good daily, affordable cigar in that $6 to $10-ish range. At least, if you don't live in someplace like New York, but someplace with reasonable taxes. Great options there. Very smooth. Well built. Thought was put into the product from the batch of tobacco that they buy. They bought it for the future. They have a great partnership with a factory like Tobacco La Perla, and spent many years developing the blend so that it was smooth, and it instituted various controls to make sure that it stays that way. You have someone like Todd who is reaching out to get the product in there at the right interval so it is there for the future. So we appreciate their thought and the time. Tony, thank you so much for spending the time and developing a product that does meet that consumer need of having affordable cigars that still deliver on taste, quality, and construction quality. And then Todd, thank you for your zaniness, and hopefully you won't get your hair too messed up or anything tonight. But again, Todd, thank you for sharing your insight and bringing a unique product that was in Europe to the States and making those changes and showing us what this can really be and what the product is, and it's getting out there. So, folks, if you want to do your product, DM me, DM Todd Vance. He'll be tagged and everything. And then, of course, Tony Barrios is the owner of Stallone Cigars. We thank you guys so much. Again, guys, stay safe out there. I'll be reaching out to you guys a little bit later on. But everyone else, thank you for joining. Thank you for following me. Thank you for taking the time to like my photos. I really appreciate it. It means something to me to see when I get those likes, get those comments. When I get, you guys are sending me all kinds of questions in my DM. I really appreciate that. And stay safe, stay smoky, and hammer out.
See you, buddy. Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you for having us. Big hug for everybody watching here. Big hug from Stallone Cigars.